Bitcoin just wiped out all of yesterday's gains, and the question now is, what are the key levels here to watch? Is this just a short-term shakeout or the start of something deeper? Today I'm going to break down the charts, the critical zones I'm watching for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and what that means for the broader market. My name is Paul Sampson. Welcome back to DataDash. When it comes to trading and investing, the number one advantage that you can have is access. Access to reliable insights, professional grade analysis, and a community that pushes you to get better each and every single day. And that's exactly what we've built over at DataDashPro. When you join, you get direct access to our Traders Club Discord, where I share daily updates, chart setups, and insights into both short-term moves and longer-term market structure. Whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or the broader altcoin market, you'll know the exact levels and setups I'm watching personally. And just as important, you'll be a part of a tight-knit community of traders who are learning, growing, and navigating this market together. On top of that, you can subscribe to the Dash Report written by Nicholas Merton, which is a monthly deep dive into the global macro picture, everything from equities and commodities to interest rates and crypto. Nick breaks it all down, the bigger trends driving financial markets as well, and it's one of the most valuable resources you can have if you want to understand the why behind the moves we're seeing. And if you really want the full DataDash experience, you can bundle the two, the Traders Club and the Dash Report, and get the complete package. That way you're covered from daily trading setups all the way to monthly macro strategy. So if you're serious about trading, investing, and staying ahead in this fast-moving market, I'd encourage you to check out DataDashPro.com. Whether you join the Discord, subscribe to the Dash Report, or bundle the two of them together, you'll be taking a big step toward trading with more clarity and confidence. That's DataDashPro.com, where traders and investors level up. The link is down in our description below. I look forward to seeing you all inside. All right, folks, so we had that really nice launch off of 107,000 up towards 118. Just to pull back to our local gold pocket here, which was derived from a Fibonacci retracement of that entire move here. We came down into it yesterday, got a sizable bounce up to the upside, but two things to me really noted that we were really not showing too much strength, and we were likely to at least give up this entire move yesterday. I even noted it in the DataDash Discord here, yesterday at 4:32 p.m., where I was showcasing the order flow and open interest, where delta and open interest were coming down as the price action was proceeding to continue higher. This is classified as a weak rise, which usually gets reversed in this case, meaning we drop back down. And I also know that we need to get back above the previous week low sooner than later to start seeing any kind of strength here, or 108K is going to remain the most likely probable area to go down to. And that previous week low that I referenced is sitting right here at about 114,400. So of this entire thing here, at the moment we came down, we did have a nice little short-term setup where we ended up taking out the lows, right? You sweep the low and go essentially. So there was that, in the case of yesterday. But for me, I really wanted to see us get back above this level for any more sizable continuation. Still do. That's really the key area for at least the next couple days here. Otherwise, all this was just a short-term bounce. We had the weakness that I just showcased in the open interest that led me to believe we'd at least come back down for the low yet again. And the question now just is, are we just going to sweep this low once more and then take it back to the upside, which we've done 3 times this week, by the way. We came down on Monday, we swept the low on Tuesday, we swept the low on Wednesday. Will we do it again for the 4th time? Generally, when we see something like this, once again, there's traders all over the world right now trying to catch these longs. I would say, as long as we're holding the gold pocket, yes, the theory, would be that you'd look for the upside here. But if we start losing this again, I really would look more so for a continued move down. And I think that the next major support takes us back down towards that 107 area, which is really now 108,200. Our anchored VWAP from the overall 74K TerraFlow woes comes in right here. We have an untapped weekly, and then of course, like I said, the monthly open, which plays a relatively large role for the remainder of September, even though it is still just a few days from now. Now on the flip side, if we were to push back up off this gold pocket, get above that previous week low, we've got a few key levels here for the week that I'm very aware of, which is backed up to 115,000. This is not necessarily a weekly level for this week, but it is a previous weekly level up here at about 118.7 still. But the overall week pivot, this is the average of last week, still is untapped for the time being up here at 115.8. So just something to be aware of even as we go into the weekend, because we could even see something along the lines where we come down a little bit lower and you get these really quick snaps back to these averages. So obviously you need to look for a reason to, get into a position or we have to have an entry trigger to some degree to see that. But yeah, so these are the two major supports to me. Locally, the gold pocket still isn't totally dead at the moment. I think that it's, something that we could very well flirt around with this for a little bit and still see, a support bounce from here that would take us back up towards these levels. But ultimately, if we stop to drop below here, and especially the way we've reacted already, where we've already got a sizable bounce, you've probably got some new, long positions entering. They're going to be heavily underwater, if not stopped out. If we start to come down here, I think that does open up the door for us to come back down, get this potential higher low here would be what I'd look for at this region. And then this would be the next major support that I'd look for that sizable move up. And I have kind of highlighted another larger pattern at play here in the Discord. I'll touch on it probably next week here on YouTube. But yeah, pretty much that's the two areas that I'm looking for pretty heavily, is back down in that month open. Again, a little bit more weight on the anchored VWAP and the weekly level more than anything, but it just so happens to also be the monthly open. So you got three areas of confluence there. So it's a big key region that I'd be looking for any kind of support bounce if we don't get it out of this gold pocket here. So just some local updates here on Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum has come down into the gold pocket as well. So the only thing that I like about this right now is that both Bitcoin and Ethereum have both just hit the gold pocket area. So even though Bitcoin's kind of coming back to the one that we hit yesterday, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't see a bounce from there. I'm just pointing out that, if we start to lose it, it's not something to totally freak out about for Bitcoin at least. And I do think we'd see that 108K again. But otherwise, when we look at the two of these kind of stacked next to each other, again, this is the gold pocket derived from our recent low to the recent high. So we've now given up 65% of this. But overall, what do we have here, right? You still have a pretty good uptrend in play here, even though we're losing some of the more local lows. Nothing's necessarily broken here. We've got our quarterly VWAP coming into play right here as well. So really we want to see this area hold. Another thing about this region for me is that it's just below $4,000. So that's just enough to mentally mess around with people as far as the psychological level of 4K, as well as stop out people that put their stop loss right at 4K, right? When they're trading up in this region and maybe they, pull their stop loss, hope for the best, hope to see us hold above that 4,000 just to get stopped out, and then you get the run back. So big level here for ETH. Want to see us hold that, obviously. As far as any major line in the sand, for me, I'd like to see us get back above the monthly pivot for any more continuation to the upside. We've obviously got a nice little key level right here at 4,500. And then same thing as far as line in the sand goes. I mean, this is really what we want to hold. Getting below here, I would say that while there's things in between, I'm sure for me, I would really be looking down about 3,500 after that, right? So at a key area, got to be willing to, either put on risk here or at least be aware of where we are and just kind of pay attention to how things play out here, right? So both Bitcoin and Ethereum at some key supports. Even if Bitcoin was to come down just a little lower, right, to the month open here, that's like 2.5%. So generally speaking, we see ETH, if not double it, usually you'd see almost the same kind of drop, but let's just pretend we double it, right? So that puts us at like 3,700-ish, right? So maybe that's more along the lines of like a 786 retracement area, just spitballing here, right? So like 5-6%. If we do lose the gold pocket here on ETH and Bitcoin pulls down to 108, the two key regions I probably would simply look for is just 3,700, 3,500. But until we lose that, otherwise we are at the key area here, so you can't get too bearish at support. We want to see a little move to the upside. If we do see that move, can't get overly excited until we flip that 42.34, okay? At the end of the day, folks, Bitcoin giving back gains like this is nothing new. It's just part of the ebb and flow of the market. What matters is knowing the key levels, having a plan, and staying disciplined when emotions are running high. If you'd like to dive deeper with me in the community, check out DataDashPro.com. That's where you can find the Dash report and the full access to the Traders Club Discord, where I'm posting each and every single day. My name is Paul Sampson. This is DataDash. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video, and until then, everybody, cheers.